Shalom, everyone. It was so good to see everyone, the sort of core group at Torah study tonight. I really, really enjoyed that. Um, I know that we spent a lot of time talking about various kind of side things, but it was really, really good. I had so much fun, and it was kind of a shame that I had to leave early. But I had to go to the grocery store because it was going to close at 9:30, and I had like 20 minutes left and to get there and to get in the door. Yeah, I kind of feel bad for leaving early, but I didn't really have a choice. Um, and now my root canal is hurting, and I've had to take I have to eat certain kind of soft food, and I have to take ibuprofen or Advil to relieve the swelling because you can't chew on the tooth because that's how sore it is after a root canal. You can't put any pressure on it. So we read as a group, as the traditional group that we have, we started the beginning of the Torah, and we read up to Genesis chapter 6, verse 8. Um, and the questions, the things that we talked about, the use of the uh, the Hebrew word for a you, for plural you, when it talks about um, Hashem talking about making us in our image, and we talked about um, Cain and Abel. We talked about um, so many different things. I'm trying to remember what the most interesting thing about, for me anyway, about the conversation. I think it was the use of the plural. And um, what else? I think I know I should prepare this better. I should look through and prepare it. But oh wow, I can't see anything. Wow, my eyes. Wowee. I need to have my glasses redone, I think. Um, we talked about the divine beings, which was really just a sign of influential kind of royal kind of people. Um, the mark that was put on Cain, and the fact that Cain was allowed to live out the rest of his life instead of being like swallowed up by the earth, or some sort of similar thing whereby murder is punished with death. Um, so we talked about that. We talked about um, when people started to use Hashem's name, which was after um, Seth bore a son called Enosh. And the reason we discussed that was a really good discussion about why that was. Um, and I'm trying to remember why that was. Um, I think we relate it to the fact that uh, rabbis apparently wrote that Abel was an accident, that Abel wasn't actually a murder, that human beings did not know they could actually kill each other. And so the fact that at that time people started to call the Lord by his name was the same time that humans realized that they were mortal and could make a distinction between themselves and Hashem and God. Um, so we talked about, of course, Adam and Eve and the apple. One of the points that Jay brought up was the fact that Adam didn't take any real direct responsibility for having chosen to eat the apple. He sort of spoke in a way in which it really put the focus on Eve, and he sort of skirted his responsibility. Another thing that we discussed was, why would Hashem ask where Adam was in the Garden of Eden when Hashem is omniscient and would know the answer to that already? And the answer to that that was sort of bounced around was that by asking the question, it showed that that Hashem did know, but just to sort of to emphasize this point of omniscience, and also to my opinion on that was to see if he would actually tell the truth, and maybe that would be also evidence of a free will, um, in the sense that that Adam would have to answer either in a truthful way or in an untruthful way, and that would be a decision that he would have to make, thus asserting the fact that he did have free will, and his actions aren't determined by God. Of course, we talked about the number 7 being a holy number, especially since on the 7th day it's the rest day. And also, human beings were created on the 6th day, and 6th is a lack of perfection. 6 goes into 7, which is a movement from 6 to 7, and 7 being perfection. And humans being created on the 6th day, which means there's sort of a kind of a Kabbalistic kind of striving to go from 6 to 7. And the Sabbath is the 7th day, and that's sort of when humans are acting like Hashem, and that's why Shabbat is incredibly holy, because it happens to be the 7th day, the day after humans were created, and the day that we as Jews we mark off and we keep because of its holiness and its relation, obviously, to the number 7, which is kind of the mystical stuff. Also, we talked about how in Genesis chapter 1, verse 6, it says, Hashem said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the water, that it may separate water from water." And also, when Hashem makes the stars to serve as signs for the set times, the days, and the years, and they shall serve as lights in the expanse of the sky to shine upon the earth. So those two creations, to me anyway, were signs of understanding science, understand that the stars could be used for navigation, and also understanding that the sky and the ocean work in a sort of a kind of a symbiotic relationship, whereas the sky pulls the moisture up into the clouds, into the sky, and then moves it, and that's that's obviously written about. As far as the water was turned into 2 separate waters, so it was kind of a scientific understanding of the Earth's atmosphere written about in the Torah, which I thought was really neat. So yeah, it's so wonderful to be able to start a new Torah cycle. I'm glad that we made the decision that we were going to do a Torah cycle every year and not just 3 years, because I think that would have been just too much. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's just so cool, and I think we once we go this whole next year, I mean, we will have been studying for probably about close to a year and a half. Because I believe we started studying um, in Leviticus, I believe. Um, so yeah, it was good. It was good to see you all. And of course, the next study is for the Haftarah, and it's on Sunday at 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and we'll see you all there. Okay, everyone. Have a good Shabbat. Shalom.